Hey, it's Jeremy with Elevate Body Fitness Professional. Today's video, we're going to be going over 5 exercises that you should stop doing now. All right, before we get started, if you're new to the channel or if you've been following the channel and haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit the little red subscribe button below and ding the little bell next to it so you don't miss out on any upcoming content that I release. Okay, so the first exercises that you should absolutely stop doing are the hip abductors and adductors, or as me and a lot of other people have came to know them as good girl, bad girls. And you would absolutely never want to make eye contact with anyone while doing these machines if you were to do them. These machines don't really help you. They're not really helping you a lot. I mean, what we're looking for is strength in our abductors and adductors in our hips. But on these machines, you can actually set your lower back up for having more back pain or having hip pain when doing these. What I would actually recommend instead of doing these is just getting like bands and wrap them around your legs and just doing side steps. And that way you're strengthening your hips, your abductors and adductors. I mean, are you really trying to grow your hips anyways? Because I mean, I would think that most people would agree that a smaller, tighter hip section would look better. But if it's not just your health alone, not setting yourself up for injury, that should be enough to not want to do these machines. So go ahead and remove the hip adductors and adductors from your workout list. Okay, so the next exercise that we're going to talk about that can be really bad for you, absolutely hurts me to even put this in the bad exercise list because I've grown up doing these exercises and I actually really like them and I felt like I got a lot of good gains from doing them. It's the upright row. By knowing the basic anatomy of your shoulders, you can actually understand why it's actually bad for you. And again, I hate to even say that it's bad because so many people do them, and I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for even saying this, but like I said, knowing the anatomy, you know it's really not that good for you. And what it will actually do is set you up for injury in your shoulders, because the way your shoulder blades kind of come down and over, whenever you're bringing your hands up, they're locked on that bar in one certain position. It can actually cause a lot of impingement, which will set you up for injury later on. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Like, see how your hands are close together, they're in a fixed position and you're going up. I mean, you're actually just causing a lot of the impingement. So instead of doing that exercise, what you can do to help replace that is you can just grab some dumbbells, because a dumbbell's not going to keep your hands in one fixed position. What you can actually do is just go up, and if you want to, you can kind of rotate your hands at the top. But see, I'm still doing this kind of upward motion, but this time my hands, my shoulders are actually a little more, there's a lot more freedom and range of motion to them, so that I'm not causing that same impingement. So that's what it's another one I would have to tell you to throw out of your arsenal of exercises. As bad as I hate to say it, but if you want to go ahead and continue having a future in lifting, you might want to go ahead and throw it out. Okay, the next exercise that can be really bad for you and set you up for injury, and you'll see so many people doing these like in the gym, it's the behind the head lat pull down. Again, the way your shoulders are, like the anatomy of your shoulders, whenever you go behind the head, you're externally rotating your arms and you're putting your shoulders in a position that is not good for them. It's actually rotated back, and again, it's just not a natural position the way our structure is. Instead of doing this behind the head, which could set you up for injury. And actually, before I even knew this, this is whenever I first began lifting, I would strain muscles in my upper back because I didn't know any better. I saw other people doing this, so just thought that's how you were supposed to do it. So I would do a lot of behind the head stuff, and I can think of a couple circumstances where I just strained muscles, and now that I know better, since I've been going in front and no longer doing it behind the head, I haven't really had that same injury. So instead of doing this behind the head motion, you could just go ahead and just keep it in front of you and pull down. So you're keeping your shoulders forward a little more and they're not going back in that unnatural position. Just keep your shoulders forward, you know, stay in a natural position, natural range of motion that our shoulder actually will allow, and then you'll be fine. So go ahead, toss out the behind the head lat pull downs and you'll be all right. Okay, so the next exercise that you should absolutely throw out, and I've actually talked about this before in another ab video, is the side cable crunch with a dumbbell. You know, this motion, you'll see a lot of people in the gym doing this. It's not my place to go up and just tell and educate every person in the gym, but if you're watching this, I want you to know, what are you actually doing when you're doing this? You're compressing your obliques, you're going to grow them, and now you're going to have this boxy look, and it's going to be bad. You're not keeping that V taper look. I mean, I completely get wanting to get the fat off and you want to have nice striated obliques. Completely understand that, but let's think about it. There's better ways, more efficient ways to do this than doing that exercise. I'm not an advocate for it whatsoever. So instead of doing that, what you can do is get on a machine where you can actually do like some straight leg lifts. But instead of doing straight leg, what you're going to do is just rotate your hips a little bit, turn to the left, and you'll work the right side of your obliques. Rotate to the right, working your left side. So that's a more efficient way to work your obliques. Or you can get on the cable system, you know, like we talked about before, and just do side like the wood choppers, where you're going down, kind of coming across your body, and that'll help work your obliques instead of doing that side dumbbell crunch thing. It's just not good for you, so go ahead and throw that out. Okay, the last exercise we're going to talk about that you should stop doing is the behind the head shoulder press. You should, whether it's with a barbell, dumbbell, it doesn't matter what's behind the head. And again, like the lat pull down, what we talked about being behind the head, what you're doing is externally rotating your shoulders. Now you're putting your shoulders in a bad position and you're going to cause that impingement, and it's just not how the anatomy of your skeletal system is designed. What'll end up happening is you're going to get that grinding, and it's going to eventually, over time, it's going to wear down, and it will set you up for injury. So do not do it. Behind the head is bad. Stay in front of your head. So instead of doing this with a barbell or dumbbell behind the head, just bring it in front of you, so that way your shoulders aren't in any kind of a bind, and you're still going to get the growth in your shoulders like you're looking for. So just front presses, and then you'll be good to go. So just throw the behind the head, throw it out. Okay, that wraps up our video on the 5 worst exercises that you should throw out. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and then you actually got some education out of it, and you won't be doing these exercises anymore. But if you do, just know that, you know, you could be setting yourself up for injury later on. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, help me out. Hit the little thumbs up like button. That really helps me and the channel grow. Until next video, I appreciate you watching. Feel free to leave any questions or comments in the box below. Try to get back to those as soon as I can. Thanks.